Into our first couple reads here, and then our first topic of the day. The NBA playoffs are almost here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet. You'll get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. I love how easy FanDuel is to bet on, whether it's picking my favorite team or diving into player props. So don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com/UCSS to get your $200 or $250 in bonus bets today. And today is also brought to you by Epicor. Every team knows the value of hard work, of taking pride in what you build, and practicing every detail to get the best result. But no player, no matter how amazing, can do it all alone. Working together makes getting the win easier. At Epicor, the All-Stars are the hard-working manufacturers, distributors, and who create and deliver the things we all need, from aerospace to electrical to medical devices. You see your whole supply chain easier, and from small businesses with big dreams to growing enterprises with global vision, we'll equip you with the right tools to move forward, think ahead, and lead the way. Easier doesn't cut corners, easier finds a lane. Discover your success at www.easierwithepicor.com. That's www.easierwithepicor.com.
All right, let's kick it off with the Guardians, who win last night against the Orioles 6-3. The Guardians have now won 6 of their last 7. Very strong performance from Logan Allen. Got to give him credit. He's pitched very well so far. He's gotten better every start so far this year.
I thought last night was his best start since his rookie season, basically.
Yeah, well,
he was awesome
last year.
Well, I know it's not saying a lot, but he was very good last night. Struck out 3 of the first 4 batters he faced, and his off-speed stuff was getting swings and misses, which it hadn't been in the first 2 starts of the season.
Yeah, he did great. I mean, I'm not a big Logan Allen guy. I've never been particularly high on him, but against the Orioles lineup, 4 base runners, no runs, and 6 strikeouts in 5 2/3. They were always Stephen Vogt's always grabbing these guys before that last out of the inning. I got to let these guys get some more depth. But whatever. I mean, 5 2/3 for him is pretty solid. I can't believe we're in a state of baseball. You know, I feel like when I was a kid, if you didn't go pitcher didn't go 7, at minimum 7. Let alone 8 or 9, you know, they'd go all the time, and you'd be like, oh, it was a short. Now 5 2/3, it's like, oh, it's a pretty good start. But he was great last night, and Baltimore's a tough place to pitch. Obviously, they have a very good lineup in Baltimore. I know they're not off to a particularly good start, but that was impressive. He did a good job, and another big thing last night, guys, was Emmanuel Clase, who did give up 1 hit.
Going to bring him up. You know, he's been frustrating.
Yeah, but last night he got it done.
Yeah, but he still gave up a hit.
Well, listen, I don't want to nitpick. He got 1 hit. You know, Jay the other day was saying they should send him down to the minors. I mentioned yesterday I thought that was way too extreme a decision. He at this point, he hasn't cost him any games. It was only his 3rd save opportunity. He got it. He's 2 out of 3, and the one he blew, they won the game in extra innings. So I don't know that we need to make extreme moves right now. As bad a start as they got off to in that, you know, that road trip out west, they're 9-7. They're a half game behind Detroit. They're in perfectly fine shape. There's no need to make any panic moves this early in the season.
No, I don't know if it's my big takeaway from last night. Logan Allen was the story last night. But boy, I have to ask about Rocchio, because we had the entire Rocchio experience yesterday. He saves an out when Ramirez kind of fumbled the ball. He catches it, fires a dart to first base to get Gary Sanchez, who might be the slowest guy in baseball. But that's an incredible defensive play.
Yeah.
Then he has a terrible error at short later in the game, sails it over Carlos Santana at first base, ends up giving up a base. Hits the sac fly, scores a run, or drives in a run, gets an RBI, and then gets doubled up at second base on a base running mistake that Jason described in the group text yesterday as a drunk old man running the bases.
Yeah.
And Tyler O'Neill, I'm not a baseball savant by any means. I don't have spreadsheets like Bull. I don't play fantasy baseball. Tyler O'Neill has one of the best arms in baseball. That's one of the things that if you don't even know who Tyler O'Neill is, and you just think generally speaking, who are the strongest armed outfielders in baseball? Like Tyler O'Neill comes to mind. How Rocchio got that far off the base. Yeah, his dad's a former Mr. Olympia bodybuilder in Canada. Like, dude's yoked out of his mind. Yeah. But how Rocchio gets that far off the base on a shallow fly to right field that wasn't deep enough to ever tag up on with Tyler O'Neill, I don't know. So it was the entire roller coaster, the Rocchio roller coaster, we'll call it, yesterday. 2 good plays, 2 bad plays. So I don't know what you make of the overall performance and what to really do with him, because he hasn't been hitting at the same level he did in the postseason last year, and his defense has been average at best this year.
Yeah, well, again, like the Clase thing, even though he has much less of a track record than Clase, I'm not making any panic moves, and I'm going to give him some time, especially because it's not like they got a million great options at shortstop at the moment.
I'm not suggesting send him down. I'm just asking.
Right. Now, The base running is a concern. This has been an issue since he first came to the big leagues. He is a bad base runner on a team that generally runs the bases very well. Jose's defense, honestly, is a little bit of a concern right now. He's having a terrible start to the season defensively.
The one he fumbled yesterday is a routine play.
It's
Jose
weird.
makes that 99 out of 100 times.
I think he's banged up.
sloppy.
Because he never talks about his injuries.
Well, yeah, but he's hitting well. So, like in the past when he's been banged up, and maybe he is, I don't know. I don't want to give him a built-in excuse. You're right, he doesn't talk about his injuries. Usually he slumps offensively when he's hurting, which we've seen at times in the past. But obviously he's hit well, but his defense has just been poor. I don't know. Maybe it's him starting to get a little older, so that's, fraying from his game a little bit. And he has cooled off a little offensively the last couple of games, but still, he's 4 homers, 8 ribbies, and 842 OPS is really good.
Had a sack fly last night, too.
Yeah, but Rocchio's been terrible. He's been terrible this season so far, and his base running, it's just consistently been an issue. That's weird. It's weird to see a young player be such a bad base runner, especially a shortstop, because usually shortstops have such good baseball instincts. Like, to be a shortstop, you have to have good baseball instincts, and so his base running is so poor, it's strange.
I know coaching Little League and coaching in the majors is night and day different.
Oh,
but
you think?
I'm genuinely asking,
Yeah.
is even at a young age, is base running just instinctual, and some guys have the knack for it and some guys don't? Or is that something you can teach and improve upon as a player gets older and older?
I think a lot of it has to do with instincts, Adam. You could speak to it more.
Ahead.
I mean, I stopped playing when I was in 8th grade, but I mean, it just appears to be some guys have a better feel just from watching the game.
And they're not even the fastest guys. They just
right.
have that,
no, I
that
mean,
itch.
it's instincts is something that in every sport that I played my whole life, it's something you just can't coach.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure you can improve on certain other things, and
Yeah.
and obviously the coaches, the base running coaches, can help you on the base path. But yeah, what do you think, Adam?
No, you're right. It's 95% instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can improve a little bit with coaching, but it's instinct. I'll give you an example, which I may have mentioned before. I'm sure I mentioned it on Bull and Fox. When I was a junior in high school, obviously I wasn't this heavy, but I wasn't skinny. When I was a junior high school, I led my team in stolen bases.
Attaboy.
I'm like, for my size, I was always, had decent speed for my size. Not anymore. But I had great instincts in baseball. I didn't have enough talent to get as far as I wanted to go, but I had excellent instincts in playing baseball. And I just knew I was always on the move when I was on the bases. So when I was at first base, I was always moving a little bit. So the second the pitcher let go of the ball, I was already in motion. I talk to the kids, and this is a thing throughout baseball, no matter how old you are, about baseball. It's funny because baseball in a way seems like very square. Guys are, in their uniforms, and everybody's got to look the same. And in a way, it seems like football's got a lot more, and basketball have a lot more, showboating or
individualism,
right? But you got to have rhythm in baseball. If you watch baseball really carefully, it feels like guys are standing around all the time, but they're not. If you watch every hitter, go home tonight, watch the Guardians game. Every hitter is moving. It may be a tiny amount. It may only be their wrist. It may only be an elbow or a knee or whatever. But you got to be in rhythm. If you're just standing there and then boom. Yeah, the kids, I see all the time, there's some kids that stand there like this, they wait for the ball to come, and then they just go like this with their arms. You can't hit that way. You've got to be in rhythm. You've got to be loose. I've gotten some of the kids to basically where they're kind of almost dancing in the batter's box to give them some rhythm. What's that?
Gary Sheffield?
Well, yeah, stuff like that, because you got to have rhythm. And it's the same thing with base running. Like, to be a good base runner, you've got to have rhythm on the bases. You've got to feel the flow of the energy of the game. It sounds a little silly, but you've got to, if you're reading the pitcher, you've got to be moving. If you're flat-footed, and this is anything with running, right? If you're flat-footed, you're going to get off to a terrible start. You can't be flat-footed when you're running.
In any sport is a bad position to be in. It's not an athletic position.
Right.
And you can't fully, just from a body mechanics standpoint, you can't get the rhythm, the fluidity, the momentum, all the power. You can't get it.
Yeah. It's also in the field. Why you'll see, I see a lot of kids, I'll stand up for a second. I see a lot of kids for Little League, they stand there like this. And I'm like, what are you doing?
And
you're flat-footed and off balance. You can't have that. As in the field, you see guys.
Oh, those kids, man, you look like an erection out there, man.
Yeah, right.
Bend your knees, dude.
Don't say that to a kid.
Yeah, no, I definitely will not.
Mel Tucker used to say, well,
Yeah.
D'Antonio and Tucker used to say
In
it all
college.
the time. Yeah, in college.
Yeah,
You look like an erection out there.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Nah.
That's not good. You don't want to look stiff.
And he plays right next to Jose. And Jose's as good of a base runner, despite the
Right.
fact that he's not the fastest guy in
No,
the league
not
by
at
any
all.
means, but he's always gets a big jump. And he's always really good at reading the ball off the bat. And he's always seemed to steal bases in situations where it's like, oh, he just got a great jump. The catcher made a good throw. The pitcher delivered the ball. It wasn't a breaking ball in the dirt. And he still gets there. And he plays literally right next to him in the field, shortstop to third base.
Yeah.
And they don't bat next to each other, but they're around each other after that. You would assume that some of that may assimilate onto him and rub off, but it hasn't.
I just think it's unusual for a shortstop not to be as instinctual as a base runner, just because of the nature of that position. You're so involved with every play. But Jose is not one of the fastest guys in baseball, but he's one of the best base stealers and base runners.
Quan too. Quan's not the fastest guy, but very good instincts.
And the Guardians overall, very good base running team. And who's super fast on the team?
On the Guardians?
Yeah.
I mean, Miles Straw was the guy, but he's gone.
You just
Right.
assume that Quan can move, right?
Quan's fast, but he's not like a blazer.
No.
Lane Thomas might be their fastest 90-foot guy.
But Steven
Schneeman's
Kwan,
not bad.
like Ramirez, is a very instinctual runner. What's that?
I was gonna say Schneeman's pretty fast.
He hit that great inside the park homer the other day.
I feel like I haven't seen Schneeman enough on the bases especially this year, to remember how good how fast he is. Anyway, all right, Anthony, we'll leave it there. What do you